Good evening. I'd like to call to order this regular meeting of the Round Lake Area Board of Education at the Round Lake High School Library on Monday, March 9th, 2026 at 6:59 p.m. Look at that. If I can get started first with a roll call, please.
Mrs. Negretti McGinley?
Here.
Mrs. Klingler?
Here.
Mr. Francisco?
Here.
Mrs. Larson?
Here.
Mr. Jewett?
Here.
Mr. De Vera?
Here.
Miss Lee?
Here.
All right, first up is our Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, first up, we need a motion to approve the meeting agenda as listed.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Jewett, seconded by Miss Lee. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Negretti McGinley?
Yes.
Mr. Francisco?
Yes.
Mrs. Larson?
Yes.
Mr. De Vera?
Yes.
Mr. Jewett?
Yes.
Mrs. Klingler?
Yes.
Miss Lee?
Yes.
Motion carries. We have an approved agenda, and first up on that is special recognition and presentations, and that is our student recognition of our all-state musicians, and Mr. Peterson will take over.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome. We're going to continue to honor the success of our fine arts program in Round Lake School District, and to do that, Mr. Bobby Olson will be congratulating our all-state musicians.
All right. Thank you so much for having us here. I'd like to honor a high school musician tonight, Kenneth Secondina. You can come on up. So Kenneth is a senior at Round Lake High School, and as part of Music in Our Schools Month, which is March, we wanted to recognize the high achievement of our music students. So Kenneth has been a 3-time all-district choir member, and this year he applied to do the Future Music Educator Seminar in Peoria as part of the Music Education Conference. And he was selected from hundreds of applications to be one of only 55 students from across Illinois to take part in that seminar. It's a great thing. They do lots of classes about getting into music education and what it means to be a teacher. They heard from music ed students and early career teachers and experienced teachers, and also got to go to some sessions and concerts with us down there. One of the coolest things for me was on the ride down to Peoria and throughout the weekend, seeing Kenneth mentor our junior high all-state musicians was really cool, and made me really proud. So he's been an outstanding member of our music department for 4 years, and to see him get this recognition was very cool. So congratulations, Kenneth. I'd like to introduce Miss Nelson from Round Lake Middle School. She's going to introduce our junior high all-state musicians.
Good evening. I'm Caitlin Nelson. I'm the band director at Round Lake Middle School. I have the absolute privilege of highlighting some of our outstanding student musicians and the Round Lake Middle School band and choir program. This past September, thousands of middle school students across the state auditioned for their district honor bands and choirs, and from those students, individuals were selected for a spot in the ILMEA, Illinois Music Educator Association All-State Ensembles. The audition process is incredibly rigorous, requiring lots of practice and dedication, and I'm excited and thrilled to share that 3 of our own students were selected for this prestigious honor. We have 8th grader Dorado Ponce Torres was selected for the inaugural, so this was the first ever junior high all-state band, and 8th grader Caleb Pacheco and 7th grader Emmanuel Bermudez were selected for the 2nd annual junior high all-state choir. During the conference in Peoria, these students spent 2 exhausting but also exhilarating days in rehearsals, and they had the rare opportunity to collaborate with nationally renowned guest conductors and make music alongside the very best junior high musicians in Illinois. They represented our schools, our community, and our music program with an incredible professionalism and talent. An achievement like this doesn't happen by accident. It's the result of their relentless individual practice and leadership in the classroom, and also the support of their families and a school district that values and supports fine arts education. We are so incredibly proud of these 3 students, and thank you so much to the board and administration and the community for your continued support of our music programs that make these life-changing experiences possible. Thank you.
All right. Next up on communications to the board is our CEDAW governing board recap, and Mr. Jewett will be taking that one away.
Just to let everybody know that the notes, the summary notes and the agenda and such will be, I'll send that to you to get into the packet, or for the end, not to the packet, but for the weekend. And because there wasn't time, because Wednesday, wasn't quite time to get it in time for the packet. And I gotta tell you, so there is a different vibe. I'm just gonna kind of give you an overall. There's a different vibe from when I started going to the CEDAW governing board to now. Yes, in a good way, in a very good way. So it seems calmer, in control. It feels different, which is really encouraging. Unrelated, so I'll just go through what's going on. Unrelated, I don't know if you know Miss Osmond. She has retired and she's moved to Utah. So one of the things is that they're looking for more governing members and members on the exec board for that. So that was part of it. There are highlights of the continuous improvement program, and that was done by a previous administrator here, Dr. Jimenez Captain. She did that, and it's always good to see her and just get the updates that are going on. A lot of very positive things. One of the things it covered was a countywide specialized institute day. CEDAW ran their first one, and over 1,200 special education educators attended. 2 thumbs up. Talked about the amended budget. One of the things on the positive side of the amended budget, there used to, a lot of times actually in my past experience, the amended budget was, we found a bill, right? That kind of thing. And this one was, hey, we found some money. So on that part, that was, there were some investment figures that weren't included in a previous calculation, which improved the fund balance and went from 8% to 22.5, which is financially very positive. And then also talked about some of the budget changes and some of the budget reduction strategies that they're going through, both in terms of the big theme was the change in the tuition, which those figures and estimates will be coming out in a few months. The second piece was an accurate assessment of, as close or more accurate assessment of the number of students so that they can forecast everything else, because everything flows from CEDAW, everything flows based on attendance. And then the third was the strategy in terms of their budget adjustments. And then the other piece was recognizing that Dr. Jennifer Thomas is the incoming CEDAL superintendent, and we got to meet her. There was a meet and greet and all that, and so that was all very good. So very positive overall. It was quick too. That was like double bonus. It's awesome.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Jewett? Hearing none. Thank you very much for that. Any questions from the board on the FOIA report as listed? Hearing none there. Any questions on the contracts under 1,000 as listed? Hearing none. That'll take us to opportunities for public comment. As always, members of the public may participate in public comment during regular board meetings by attending in person, and please note that speakers are limited to 3 minutes. Do we have any local public comment this evening? Hearing none, we will now move to Superintendent's report and Dr. Mendoza.
Thank you, Board President Francisco and board members. As a reminder, the district has made an adjustment to this year's middle school recognition ceremonies. The ceremonies will now be held on Monday, May 18th in the Round Lake High School main gym. McGee Middle School ceremony will begin at 6 p.m., followed by Round Lake Middle School at 8 p.m. The adjustment was made to ensure that students participating in middle school track sectionals scheduled for May 15th and 16th are also able to take part in their school's recognition ceremony. We estimate that approximately 50 to 60 students will benefit from this change. Moving forward, whenever possible, we will continue to make efforts to schedule end-of-year ceremonies in a way that minimizes conflicts with significant student activities and experiences. A communication regarding the update has already been shared with families. Just to remind the board, one of the other weekends we pick at the middle school conflicts with the state finals. So we might actually, let's see how this year works, and maybe it's something we stick with because it completely eliminates the conflict on both ends. As the board is aware, the district has been working to finalize remaining component of a grant from the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, or known as DCEO, that is carried over from prior years. Earlier this year, we shared that the district will be awarding up to a $588,000 construction project to a contractor certified through the state's Business Enterprise Program, commonly referred to as BEP. This program supports participation from minority, women, and veteran-owned businesses. The identified projects include paving and concrete work, along with a water main replacement at Ellis Elementary. A bid opening was conducted last week. While Mark Vierk is continuing to review the bids with the district engineering firm to confirm all details, we anticipate that the bids may come in below the original estimate. Once the bid review process is complete, the district will work with our DCEO representatives to finalize an updated BEP utilization plan, along with any necessary adjustments to the project budget and scope. We expect to provide the board with a more detailed update within the next month. Last but certainly not least, the following donations were recently received. A thank you letter will be sent to each donor acknowledging their generosity. All of the donations listed were for McGee's Lotteria Night. The donors include Nailed It Nail Spa, Mr. V's Restaurant, the Volo Auto Museum, Round Lake Area Park District, the Chicago Wolves, the Chicago White Sox, the Round Lake Beach Burger King, Be Still Wellness Massage, Root Deeply, and Tranquil Timbers. And that concludes the superintendent's report.
Any questions for Dr. Mendoza?
Just with the change in the middle school ceremonies, that moves our board meeting right to the.
Yes, the board meeting is the Tuesday after. So have we updated the board's calendar? Okay.
Okay, I think those updates just came through, actually.
Yeah, but just also wanted to make sure we acknowledge it. We have community here, so I just want to make sure that they're aware as well.
All right, hearing no additional conversation there, we will move now to committee reports and the Community Engagement Committee update from this evening.
Good evening. So tonight we met. We had two kind of major items on the report. The first one was the stakeholder advisory update. Basically, we had, at the outcome of that, the last time we met, we had 4 subcommittees that were going to be meeting. One was going to be over an attendance campaign. The second one was over standards-based grading. The third was technology resources for family. And then the fourth was the parent playbook. Their goal was to have 5 meetings prior to our next meeting as a whole group for the stakeholder advisory. So they have already had 3 of those meetings. So each of them updated us on kind of the subcommittees. Basically, we had them update on the attendance subcommittee, talked about parents giving really good feedback on attendance, what they need to see, what they need to hear. Gave us some really good feedback on essentially if we were to have any comparisons done for e-learning, things like that. We had some questions about that. I want to shout out Annette Nergetti-McGinley for asking, have we done comparative analysis regarding e-learning info and in comparison to regular school days, mainly just so we have the information and when how, if parents have questions that we have the opportunity to present it to them. Dr. Steffen talked about updating us on standard-based greetings from the parents, basically saying they got a lot of feedback regarding the wording of the communication. Was it confusing? Did it make sense? How do we get this info to you as a parent? What's the most effective way to get the information to them? Basically, the overall messaging from the parents was that they needed more communications and information. So they're studying that, and then there's going to be again 2 more meetings to kind of further dive into that. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. They did express the parents that they want the information quickly. They kind of want it kind of information underscored sort of quickly. So they were talking about, avenues for that TikTok and things like that. That is not one that we would probably pursue, but just keeping that in mind. We kind of talked about test retakes and things like that, more information on syllabuses. So they really got in the weeds kind of on it, but ultimately it came down to needing more information conveyed to them in a way, and how do we get that information to them more effectively. And then Mr. Counselor, Kevin Counselor, went over technology resources for us. The parents had expressed a need for the tech hub. They like the idea of having more information. We wanted, how do we disseminate that information in a way that's simple, because we used to have kind of sort of a hub on the page, but it was a little bit convoluted. So we discussed that. Also how-to videos for parents. And then again, how do we get the info out to parents or lean into different tools that we already have so that they can have that information disseminated to them. And then Mrs. LeBlanc went over some of our information overlap. So a lot of it was sort of the same similar things that were expressed, which is good because this is kind of bubbling up to the surface, things that we need to address. But parents want the hub, the videos, they like handouts. How can we equip parents for e-learning? They talked about, the parents mentioned that they really like organized in-person events for learning skills, which is something that was surprising to us. So all of that is information that, again, that they're just kind of deconstructing and figuring out how to move forward with. And then we have our next full advisory group meeting in April, so we'll have more information to share on that when we have that one. Any questions on that? I kind of went through a lot, so I'm sorry. If you get a chance, look in the packet. There was quite a bit of good information in there. And I thought they did a really good job summing up, because it was kind of a lot of information to sum up, so thank you guys. But if you do have any questions, let me know. The next one was a class dojo for districts. If you guys get a chance to look at the packet, we had some questions that we had asked. Essentially what's happening is we have a 3-year contract before us, and the contract is one it doesn't cost anything to us, but there were some concerns listed. They wanted to use our name and logo on the website. We wanted to know what that entails. There is a demo, actually, if you go in there, you can look and see, relating to the promotions of the tutoring services. This was something that we kind of expressed some concern about, because we were worried that it would be confusing to the parents and maybe derail them from understanding that it's not ours. And then we talked about student data. Is it our intellectual property? How does that work? Essentially, no, student data is our intellectual property. The only thing that they do is show that our school utilizes their programs as hey, this school uses it. So that was some of the concerns we had. Overall, I believe that we're in support of this, though. It's going to come back to the full board next meeting. But if you get a chance, you can look at some of the questions that they had, and they did a really good job again addressing those for us and kind of taking our feedback on that. And then there was the communication snapshot, pretty standard on that, but that was essentially it. Any questions? Anything I missed?
Did you say that the dojo didn't cost anything?
Yes, it's not. It's no cost to us. It's just a contract.
So how do they pay their employees?
Well, so that's the thing is they have this advertising that comes up, and so we were concerned a little bit about that. But I feel like as long as our messaging is clear that that's separate from ours, it's been a program that's been really good for the school. But yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, because if we're not the customer, we're the product. So, okay.
But essentially, it hits quite a bit of needs for our district.
Good things about that.
Yeah, and it's free. So, but that's the trade off is those little ads. So, thus the questions. Anything else?
Could I add one thing?
Please add. Yeah.
Because Class Dojo is free, but it is a multi-year contract, it's gonna come on that next agenda under contracts under 1,000. So just to be aware, that's why it was vetted through community engagement. Those questions were asked because there's gonna be no formal motion, but obviously the board needs to be in support. So I just wanna make sure we call that out.
I apologize because I don't think I was clear on that actually, but yes, that is correct. Thank you for that. Anything else? Anybody? Bueller? No. Okay.
Hearing nothing, thank you very much. And that'll take us to approval of open meeting minutes.
I need a motion to approve the February 23rd, 2026 regular board meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Jewett, seconded by Ms. Lee. Hearing no additional conversation, roll call please.
Mrs. Klingler,
Abstain.
Mr. Francisco,
Yes.
Mrs. Larson,
Abstain.
Mr. Jewett,
Abstain as well.
Mrs. Negretti McGinley,
Yes?
Mr. De Vera,
Yes.
Miss Lee. Yes.
Motion carries. That'll bring us to the consent agenda.
I need a motion for the consent agenda for the following items. The accounts payable report for $1,603,947.26. The March 9th, 2026 employment report.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Jewett, seconded by Mrs. Klingler. Roll call please.
Miss Lee,
Yes.
Mr. De Vera,
Yes.
Mrs. Negretti McGinley,
Yes. Yes.
Mr. Jewett,
Yes.
Mrs. Larson,
Yes.
Mr. Francisco,
Yes.
Mrs. Klingler,
Yes.
Motion carries. And that will bring us to introduction of new administrators, and I do not have who's coming up first.
We'll do Brittany.
Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be here tonight to introduce Mr. Andy Parker as the new Assistant Principal of Student Services at McGee Middle School for this upcoming school year. Andy started the school year with us at McGee and has been as a special education teacher and has been a monumental part of our staff this past year. When he came to McGee, he came with a bunch of knowledge and a bunch of background. He has background in both private and public sector of education. He also was a principal of a charter school as well, so he has administrative background, which is amazing for us. He has an LBS 1 and went back into the classroom, and his passion is special ed. When he came into McGee, he jumped in with both feet, and it was amazing how quickly he built relationships with our staff as well as our students. Staff have said that he's one of the hardest working individuals they've ever seen. He's very student first and data driven, which speaks mountains about the students who want to come talk to him during passing period that have him never in class. Students randomly come up to Mr. Parker to just engage in conversation, and he's never once taught them, which speaks volumes to his character. He also has the great support of his family, his wonderful wife Julie, and his two kids, Peyton and Addie. They could not be here, but they are a huge support to him, and I just know that his continued support from his family and his ongoing charismatic attitude is going to add to McGee's culture and climate and continue to make it a great place. So I would like to introduce Mr. Andy Parker.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate this opportunity and the kind words from Brittany. It's a real honor to stand here and be considered for this role. The group of educators that led the interview process, I have a lot of respect for. They're really fantastic educators. So to be selected by them is a great honor to me. And I love McGee. There's a very special culture at McGee that I absolutely love. And like Brittany said, I fit right in with the kids and with the staff. And it's been an amazing experience. And I'm really excited to see it continue. Thank you.
Good evening, Board of Education. My name is Trina Metz, and I'm the principal of Beach Elementary. Thank you for this opportunity, and please join me in welcoming Mr. Matt Fasana as our new assistant principal for Beach Elementary. Mr. Fasana brings more than 20 years of leadership experience with a strong track record of strengthening instructional systems, advancing restorative practices, and building inclusive, student-centered school communities. Most recently serving as an assistant principal at Wildwood Elementary, he has led work in MTSS implementation, social emotional learning integration, and school-wide safety systems. Mr. Fasana is a collaborative leader that has demonstrated data-informed decision-making. His efforts have resulted in measurable gains in attendance, reductions in suspensions, and significant improvements in student outcomes. We are excited to welcome his experience, energy, and commitment to excellence to our school community. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Matt Fasana to the Round Lake community.
Good evening, board, Trina, community. I appreciate this opportunity. It's pretty surreal, even after over 20 years in leadership. It's like that first day of school feels, which is great. It's exciting. I want to thank everybody here and again the community and the 14 people from Beach who interviewed me, and it was really a conversation. You could tell the culture was spot on, and it really felt like family, and that's something I value a lot. I look forward to learning from the kids, the staff, the community on my next chapter. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, next up, we will move to new business, and we'll just turn it over to Mr. Kozik and go to town. Go.
Good evening. It's the beginning of E-rate season approvals, and so this evening I have two proposals for your review. The first is upgrading our uninterruptible power supply system, or UPS battery backup system, that ensures the data center housed at McGee will stay up and running during short-lived power interruptions. And Ms. Mondragon on our team does a great job working with Jane, our E-rate consultant, to make sure we get the most money we can through our E-rate opportunities. This proposal from CDW has a total cost of $24,810 and is eligible for 85% reimbursement through the program, resulting in a net cost to the district of $3,721.50, which then gets funded through the tech department budget. This proposal was also shared at the February 23rd Finance Committee meeting. Any questions?
I'm going to ask one question, and I kind of know the answer, but I still want to ask it anyway. God forbid the federal government decides to do away with E-rate, as some rumors have been that they are pondering that. How do we anticipate coping with that in that scenario?
So that's a really good question. Unfortunately, we rely on E-rate for our internet services, which is coming up next, and our infrastructure, our data center. Without that money, it would be a substantial hit to the district. Like anything else we do, we would get together and figure out a strategic solution to that problem. We also are aware of what's happened in the past with this current administration and E-rate dollars. So we're very mindful of the programs and the dollars that we invest in to make sure it's the best use of the dollars that we have in the program. If you are aware, every 5 years we get trued up for another cycle of E-rate dollars, in which we get 5 years to spend it. So we're in the middle of that cycle right now.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, strategic might be a little. I don't know how strategic it would be. We'd get in a room, and there are certain things we have to have. So it wouldn't be a matter of whether or not we're going to do it or not. It'd be like, how are we going to pay for it? Which means something else might have to stop so we could keep, for example, internet. There might be other things that are E-rate funded, though, that we could discontinue like altogether potentially, but that would be woven in when we have all of our departments in a room and trying to build a budget. So that's kind of how we would do it.
To Dr. Mendoza's point, we don't consider the stuff that we fund through E-rate nice to have. It's keeping the lights on. We call it KTLO stuff. So that's what we fund through there. Internet services, infrastructure, things like that.
Thank you.
I was just going to add, as Mr. Kozik said, that came to finance, and in those questions are asked, how do we, because we know, unfortunately with this administration, grant funding across the board for school district is taking a hit, but those are asked. But just also asked, and I apologize, Mr. Kozik, I don't know if you covered it, but like what will be done with that aging and non-functional equipment was another question asked at finance.
Yeah, sorry, I did not cover that, but thank you for the opportunity to cover it. So the old UPS system and battery backup system would be recycled through our recycling partners and disposed of properly, like we do with all other obsolete technology in our district. So it'll be disposed of accordingly.
And then just review the statement of work that's associated with this. So that was everything that was covered in finance.
Any additional questions from the board? Hearing none.
All right, with that, I need a motion to approve the E-rate CDW Data Center UPS equipment agreement at the amount of $24,810 to be funded through E-rate.
So, second.
Who moved? Sorry. Oh. Mr. Joe with the move. Mrs. Klingler with the second. Roll call, please.
Ms. Lee? Yes. Mr. De Vera?
Yes.
Mrs. Negretti McGinley?
Yes.
Mr. Jewett?
Yeah.
Mrs. Larson?
Yes.
Mr. Francisco?
Yes.
Mrs. Klingler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, the second item is for our Comcast Internet and Wide Area Network, or WAN services. These services currently are with Comcast and would continue to be with Comcast. The internet services has a monthly cost total of $3,030 and is a 5-year agreement. And the WAN services has a total cost of $6,561 per month and is a 2-year agreement. These services are eligible for 90% reimbursement through the E-rate program. And so subsequently, the cost to the district would be $303 a month for internet services and $656.10 a month for the WAN services. And those again would be funded through the tech department budget. The proposals were also shared at the February 23rd Finance Committee. Any questions?
So as Mr. Kozak said, this was at the last finance. Just confirming that the sites and location listed in the agreement are the same as prior years, and they are. And then just the question that come up as we talked about internet and our WAN services. We asked about the MiFis, but that is a different contract that will be coming back to the board as well.
That is correct. That is a separate contract currently through T-Mobile.
All right, and with that, I need a motion to approve the E-rate Comcast agreements for internet and WAN services with annual payments of $115,092.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Jewett, seconded by Ms. Klingler. Roll call, please.
Mr. Francisco,
Yes.
Mrs. Klingler,
Yes.
Mr. Jewett,
Yes.
Mrs. Larson,
Yes.
Mrs. Negretti McGinley,
Yes.
Mr. De Vera,
Yes.
Miss Lee. Yes.
Motion carries. Next up is the peace of mind psychological.
Covering this one for Sharon Jacobellis this evening. So at the last Finance Committee meeting, she reviewed this contract, and it's with Peace of Mind Psychological Services in the amount of $1,750. It would be for the remainder of this year and would cover a bilingual a psychological evaluation that would be done in Ukrainian, and that is necessary to conduct the evaluation in the student's home language.
And if I could just share, as mentioned, to come to finance, we have to use this particular company because the ones we currently contract through do not offer Ukrainian.
Hearing no additional conversation.
I need a motion to approve the contract with Peace of Mind Psychological Services, Inc. for the remainder of the 2025-2026 school year in the amount of $1,750.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Ms. Larson, seconded by Mr. Jewett. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Negretti McGinley,
Yes.
Miss Lee. Yes. Mr. Jewett,
Yeah.
Mrs. Larson,
Yes.
Mr. De Vera,
Yes.
Mr. Francisco,
Yes.
Mrs. Klingler.
Yes.
Motion carries. And that will bring us back to Mr. Kozik and the Apple 4-year leases.
I'll begin with the content of the lease agreement and then turn over to T for any lease questions. Consistent with our annual one-to-one procurement process, the technology department partners with teaching and learning as well as our business office to determine the quantity of devices needed to refresh our one-to-one program for all incoming 1st, 5th, and 9th grade students, as well as iPads for staff and classroom technology refreshes, as well as PD for our staff as well to make sure the program is successful going forward. I will say on February 23rd, we did bring a lease agreement and procurement to the Finance Committee. That total cost was $986,235. However, last Tuesday, Apple did their spring product announcements, which is why the number has changed this evening, and I'll explain that. Two things happened. Apple announced the new MacBook lineup, and as they announced the new MacBooks, the ones that we had originally put in the original purchase agreement are no longer eligible as of Wednesday when we found out. So the ones we had in that original quote were no longer eligible. In order for us to get MacBooks, we needed to go to the next model up, which is an improvement, I guess you could say, in performance and hardware, but at a $100 cost increment. So that changed the cost of the proposal from last time at the Finance Committee, as well as our teaching and learning folks were made aware that the district is eligible for Title I carryover funds. So it's money that came in through the Title I program that were left over from last year. With those funds, we were able to actually pull out 52 total MacBooks and pay for those through the Title I carryover, thereby reducing the overall cost of this agreement this evening to $951,847. The quantities are the same. In essence, we're getting the same things at slightly higher price point, but with the Title I money, the lease agreement is lower than it was at the Finance Committee meeting. I will pause there. Any questions on that?
So we couldn't do the Mac Minis, huh?
We could not, unfortunately.
Dan, every time you bring something, it's so expensive.
It's less than $1 million. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But I will say there is one silver lining that I shared with the team. Based on the specifications of these MacBooks, we believe we'll be able to bump our refresh cycle to 5 years instead of 4. So we'll get more life out of these devices because they do have a substantial hardware bump up in performance. So there's a little bit of a silver lining. I won't be back here for 5 years asking for these to be refreshed.
All right, I guess we'll let you off the hook.
And I know I shared this when I did the finance report from the last committee meeting. Obviously, it is cheaper not only because of the grant funds we're using, but it is a lower quantity due to the decline in enrollment as well. So just wanted to call that out. And then, again, I know I mentioned that, and I know now we get to extend a year, which is great because of the forced hardware upgrade from Apple. We have to talk about and look about what this might look like in the future of a refresh and funding this. Just again, due to the declining enrollment and how monies that will be used and how we will fund this, because Apple will no longer be offering a 0% interest lease agreement.
Right, so to that point, what I'm hearing you say is we're open to looking back, kind of like when we started with Apple, when we were looking at, do we look at Apple, do we look at Android, do we look at regular Windows machines, etc. Basically kind of opening that Pandora's box again to see what the best equipment is that meets the needs of the teachers and the students at that time.
Yeah, I mean, it's everything. And so we have a working group, and one of the most essential questions that we're asking is, can we draw a straight line between what we're spending and our student achievement? Like, if we're not getting the value, the return on the investment. So we're looking at everything. So I think on the surface, yes, I mean, kids need devices to kind of work in this ecosystem, and that's how instruction's delivered. And I'm not suggesting we're completely going away from technology, but in the end, every single thing we're doing is, are we seeing a result in increased outcomes resulting from what we're doing? Do we know that? If we don't know, why don't we know? And once we know whether or not it's effective, how do we shift? In the end, it's all about also financial sustainability. Yes, we're declining in enrollment, but we've seen our EBF get compromised a little bit. So I think the extension on the life of the extra year, I think ultimately will be helpful. But I think we're going to have needs even before that. We're also looking at things like, do all the grade levels need to take the devices home? Like first graders, second graders, kindergarten? What's the benefit there? So we have a working group, and they're going to answer all those essential questions, and that will eventually get to the board table.
I will add one more thing, just based on your question earlier about costs. The whole department is aware of costs and their sensitivity to cost. Samantha Chapman on our team is our device specialist, and she has her ear to all of our vendors, not just Apple, but our Windows vendors. She actually just went to a conference last week. There is this market condition that's taking place where chips are hard to come by because of all the AI data centers. There's going to be a squeeze on availability of chipsets, which is going to force the price of everything to go up. Our Windows partners are telling us the cost of Windows machines are going to go anywhere from 30 to 50% more. So one of the things we're doing to be strategic is looking at Apple devices in terms of MacBooks, because they come at us at a lower price point with higher performance to display some of our Windows devices at actually a cost savings, which is why we're doing some of this stuff now. We are looking at things very strategically because we are aware of cost increases, both short-term and long-term.
And it never used to be like that. It was flipped.
It was never
Districts
like that.
didn't do MacBooks and Apple because of the cost, and now the price point is just better.
It is, and I will say that Apple's been reluctant to increase price point. You can say they did, but they also gave us twice the memory on the machine and improved performance. So they're giving a better machine. That is why they've taken 0% off the table, because they actually buy down that interest rate. So there's a cost to them. They're no longer going to fund subsidized interest rates. That is their strategy instead of increasing costs even more.
It would be really, my assumption is based on Apple as an ecosystem, it would be pretty difficult to hybrid this thing.
Yes, you are 100% right. We've invested in this Apple ecosystem. As you can imagine, teachers have a MacBook, they have an iPad, our students have an iPad, and there's an Apple TV in a classroom, which make this ecosystem very easy to use for our staff. In case you're listening, I'll say nothing's off the table. We can always look at anything, but it wouldn't be an easy rip and replace.
And just for clarification, while tonight we are approving the lease agreement of $951,000, we're also approving the actual outright purchase of 52 of the devices that are going to be paid with grant funds. Those are not being leased. It's not in the resolution and it's not in the motion, but those 52 devices would be purchased with grant funds, non-leased, 100% purchased at an outright cost in FY26. So just to make sure we have that clarification.
Thank you. Hearing no additional conversation?
Need a motion to adopt the resolution authorizing a lease agreement and enter into a 4-year 0% interest lease agreement for student and staff instructional technology devices and accessories at a total cost of $951,847 to be paid in 4 annual payments of $237,961.75 as presented, and authorize administration to execute, file, and/or publish all associated necessary documents in compliance with statutory requirements.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Klingler, seconded by Mr. Jewett. Hearing no additional conversation, roll call please.
Mr. Tavera?
Yes.
Mr. Jewett?
Yes.
Ms. Lee? Yes. Mrs. Negretti McGinley?
Yes.
Mrs. Klingler?
Yes.
Mr. Francisco?
Yes.
Mrs. Larson?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. And that will take us to positive occurrences.
Yes. What's the highlight of my week? So highlight of my week was going to Beach Elementary and reading across America with United Way with the students. We had a kindergarten class. Granted, I was sitting in a chair this big, but it was absolutely so much fun. Highlight of my week. The kids were great. Classroom was great. Great energy. I read books. I think Stick and Stone, and yeah, it's coming from Amazon for my house. No, just kidding. It's not. So it was fantastic. The whole experience was great. Well, yeah, because the kids were skipping, so we had to skip. Thank you. I can't believe you saw that. I was fortunate, exactly.
So yes, like Mr. Jewett said, we were both there for Read Across America. I had a second grade classroom. Chairs aren't much bigger, so but I appreciate being invited and having the opportunity. It's always great to be in the building, interact with the students, and see how excited they are about reading.
And United Way did a great job. They had a great showing. They had a lot of people. I think every classroom had somebody in to read, so kudos to them as well.
They had a full house of people that came out to do reading, and it was pizza and curly fries, so it was a great Friday.
Square pizza? Square?
I don't remember if it was square. Was it square?
It was in a pan.
True.
There you go.
Okay, I have two. So I was sick last week, so I don't know if we talked about this, but we got to go to the concert, all district. It was so good. I was so proud of the kids. I'm always impressed with the kids because I feel like they do stuff that's very, like, stuff that I think is more complex than high schoolers could manage. And they just do such a good job putting on that show. And I was so proud of them. So I'm sorry if we talked about that last week, but I had to shout out. And then I did have to shout out the guard team, in particular the JV team got first place this last competition. So Saturday they went. And I know we got an email talking about how nice our kids are in competition, but I always hear that feedback up from the guard parents when I'm sitting, because I always wear like Round Lake swag so they know where I'm representing. But I just love hearing it. It just makes me so happy. I think the sportsmanship, kind of the way that it's led by the coaches, is I'm very proud of it in both like the fine arts and in our sports teams. It's very important that we recognize that every kid that's there is working hard to do what they're doing, and they're all nervous and they all have emotions about it. So I think it's really cute, and I'm watching the teams cheer for the other teams, and they just represent us really nicely. It makes me very proud. So they did come in first place. So just shout out to the kiddos.
So I received an email from, I guess, a colleague who I serve on the Ed Red board with. She's the board president in Schaumburg District 54, which is the largest elementary district in Illinois. I think they have, 20 schools, and just raving about our color guard team. Her daughter coaches at Conant. I have the email up and use terms like lovely, amazing, beautiful. She referenced how our flags reference smart, kind, and loving, and she called the whole performance breathtaking and lovely. So just very, very nice to get something like that unsolicited.
Thank you for sharing that. My kid is actually on that team, so if it's okay, I'm going to tell her that. It'll make her day.
I'll forward the email
Thank
to
you.
the full board.
Thank you. Okay.
I'll second the All District Band Festival. It was really great. I didn't enjoy it as much as I normally do because I had to drag myself out of bed, quite sick, but I made it. But they did. It looked a little different this year, but it was nice to sit in the new theater. They did a great job. Spring sports are underway. It's nice to see everybody outside in this beautiful weather, the temporary beautiful weather. What else? Riley Concow took 6th place at state, and if any of you are familiar with her story this season, you know she's a tough girl, and that was her second year on the podium and 4th year going to state. So way to represent Round Lake. And then wrestling season for most of us has ended. The awards were tonight. Mr. Francisco's son was honored with all conference, all academic. Yeah.
The great part of that, though, is for a wrestling team where Andrew was the only academic all-conference last year. We had 5 academic all-conferences this year. So that's definitely the trend we want to see within the district, is that entire growth.
We have a very young wrestling team, so good things to come.
Anybody else?
Okay, I'll mention something. And I haven't been here in a while because I was sick, but a couple weeks ago, Mr. Olson came up to where I work up at Antioch with the choir kids for the NLCC choir festival. And because I work there, got to sneak in and see. And it was funny because he normally brings the older kids, and this year he brought the younger kids. And I gotta say, they were awesome. They were so well behaved, and they were just jumping up and not shy and just participating and offering to do stuff. And it was really great to see. Comparing to other schools that were there, that, and these are our young ones, like freshman, sophomore. I wouldn't have been able to do that when I was their age. So I'm like super impressed by them. So As always, our kids are great.
All right, hearing nothing else, we will move to any future agenda items.
One, with Mr. Jewett mentioning the new superintendent for CEDAW, it'll be nice to invite her here, so that the board could maybe send a lot of our students there. So it'd be nice if we had the opportunity, bless you, to meet them.
All right, hearing nothing else on future agenda, we'll move to some approval of closed session minutes.
I need a motion to approve the closed session meeting minutes of January 26, 2026 regular meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Lee, seconded by Mr. Jewett. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Negretti McGinley,
Yes.
Mr. Francisco,
Yes.
Mrs. Larson,
Abstain.
Mr. De Vera,
Yes.
Mr. Jewett,
Yeah.
Mrs. Klingler,
Yes.
Miss Lee.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next up, I need a motion to convene in closed session as permitted by statute 5 ILCS 120/2 for the purpose of discussing the following: employment matters 5 ILCS 120/2C1, litigation 5 ILCS 120/2C11, real estate matters 5 ILCS 120/2C5, and closed meeting minutes 5 ILCS 120/2C21.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Jewett, seconded by Mrs. Klingler. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Negretti McGinley,
Yes.
Mr. Francisco,
Yes.
Mrs. Larson,
Yes.
Mr. De Vera,
Yes.
Mr. Jewett,
Yeah.
Mrs. Klingler,
Yes.
Miss Lee.
Yes.
And that will bring us to the end of the open session for this evening at 7:56 p.m. Thank you all. Our next meeting will be on Monday, March the 30th, a week late due to spring break, spring break. So we look forward to seeing everyone on Monday, March the 30th. Have a great evening, everyone.